Welcome to the Soapbox Sessions. Imagine this, an open and free internet where voices are never silenced, where causes aren't shadow banned, and where no one can be deplatformed. It's real, it's here, and it's happening on Nostr. So what exactly is Nostr? It's a worldwide community of everyday people working to decentralize the internet. On Nostr, you can build websites, communities, social networks, apps, and more. One login works everywhere, you own it, and no one can take it away. No more juggling dozens of platforms, chasing audiences, or managing a giant password list. And the cherry on top? Nostr allows for built-in digital payments that can come from anywhere in the world. On Nostr, value flows as freely as ideas. We're hooked on decentralizing the web, and we think you will be too. So now, let's hear from your hosts, Derek Ross and Heather Larson, who are working to grow Nostr one vibe at a time.
Welcome back to Soapbox Sessions. Today is October 1st, 2025, and we're here with your weekly dose of all things decentralized social and AI. Soapbox Sessions is our soapbox about what's new, what's cool, and what's coming. We want to make it easy to understand and keep you up to date with everything happening in the decentralized world of social communication and AI as we work to rebuild the internet. Hey, Heather.
Let's get the purple and the orange lights out. This is the Nostr decoration month and spooky month.
I don't think the ostrich is very spooky though.
It could be.
Like
when they're mad, they're scary.
Maybe an ostrich in like a ghost, like white sheet, perhaps. Maybe I don't know.
It would be festive with some orange and purple lights. Got to bring the orange and purple light to the world.
Yeah, I want to see a Halloween vibe-coded orange and purple Halloween app, I think.
I think somebody's offering some prize money for such a thing, actually.
You know, I said that, but that's actually right. Soapbox, we'll just jump right in.
Right, let's go for it.
Soapbox is doing a Halloween month hackathon, right?
Halloween hackathon, yeah. Build spooky apps with Shakespeare. And the Halloween theme apps and websites that you build, they can compete for 87,000 sats each. We got 3 categories: design excellence, which I can't wait to see; functional innovation, so get technical there; and then we have a judge's choice. So, for example, you just enter the hackathon, submit your spooky Shakespeare creation. You got to build it with Shakespeare, since as we are recording this is kind of the day we started releasing Shakespeare to the world, Act II, and we might just have this on the website too for you.
Yeah, so let's recap here. 87,000 sats, which is around $100. So you get $100. We have 3 different categories. Design excellence. So this is your really pretty looking. This is the Derek app that I was just talking about. It's really pretty with like lots of purple, lots of spooky orange, an ostrich in like a costume or something. So design excellence. And then functional innovation. That's what I would say, that's using Nostr in a unique way, right? Like that's not your kind one app. That's not your DM app. That's something unique here.
It would be like a Derek app versus a Heather app, because you get more technical and fancy with your apps, where I will literally just take 2 seconds to make an app that makes fun of Derek just for fun.
And you do that. We'll get to that later.
Yes, we will get to that. But at Halloween, though, I'm excited about the Halloween apps because we haven't done an app contest before.
So this is our first one. Yeah.
Halloween. Who doesn't love Halloween? Okay, so where you live, so we're on opposite ends of the country. So, yes. and I've lived in other parts of the country too, and I've never seen anything like Phoenix, Arizona, where I live now, and the way people go nuts here about Halloween. It's going to be purple and orange lights everywhere, and it's just going to be like being a Nostr person everywhere I turn for the next month. It's going to be great. Do they do that where you live?
No, but my neighbor does. Like he's the outlier here. He puts on an incredible show. He spends the entire month. He's been building it for the past 2 weeks. So a little over a month's time. He builds an incredible different stage setup, play, all sorts of different things. And he'll have all sorts of, moving parts. He builds it, all by hand. My favorite one a few years ago was a train wreck, and it talked about a historical train wreck in the town, and which actually did happen, like 150 years ago, and there was like all sorts of like elephants and lions and circus animals that escaped.
God,
So there
that's
was like
terrible.
all these like zombie like circus creatures around and dead clowns, and like it was kind of cool. And then about 10 years ago, he did a thriller. He hired like the local like college like dance or theater club, and they did Thriller. It was super cool. So I'm excited to see what he does.
That is cool.
So the third category that I didn't mention is judge's choice for the Halloween hackathon, and that is essentially whatever the judges like.
The
It's
overall
just
favorite, right?
it's a combination of little design here, little function here, whatever we like. So 87,000 sats, build it with Shakespeare. And I guess we can kind of segue into talking about Shakespeare, because over the past few weeks on the show, we've been, teasing, talking about new features here and there. And now Shakespeare Act II is officially launched as of today. You can visit shakespeare.diy and you'll have this new beautiful Act 2 that's actually really, really amazing. Heather, if you had to pick your top 2 favorite features on Act 2, what would they be for you?
I think the fact that you can upload an image, I think is very cool. You can, got a little attachment there. Is that my favorite? That's the first one that comes to mind. It's hard to pick.
This first
because
one
we
comes to your
actually
mind.
we
Because we
threw so
couldn't
many
do
things
that in
here.
Act 1, right? We didn't
No.
have image upload. So now that we have image upload, that's a basic feature, but we figured out that just adding an image drastically increases the design excellence. Like,
Yes.
an image is worth 1,000 words, literally. It will make your site look that much better.
It's less that I have to type into my prompt. But no, that's
Yeah, you don't
I
have to
think
type
a key
1,000
thing.
words. You just upload that image.
You can just do that instead of talking to it. So that's because I always say just talk to the robot. Tell it what you want it to do, like it's
Tell
a
it what
person.
you want.
And you have to, do even less now. I mean, you can just give it that image. So that is one of my favorite features. I'm gonna say that my new friend William Clipspear, we call him Quilly.
Quilly. Yeah.
His government name is the long name, but Quilly is, if you're nostalgic for the 90s like I am, and the old school computing that we did back then, there was a Microsoft Office mascot, and it was a paperclip with big eyeballs, and it was Clippy.
Yeah.
And so we made Quilly.
Clippy would pop out and be like, "Hey, you're having a problem. It looks like you're trying to open
Yes.
It looks like you're trying to open a Word document. Do you want some help?"
The
It looks
90s
like you're trying to
were-
create a table.
Yeah, it was pure back then. So like it was a pure, wholesome little assistant. And so at some point Microsoft killed it off and things got more modern and we lost the innocence and wholesomeness of that era. So we're bringing it back with Quilly in Shakespeare. So you're going to get a little pop-up when you have an error, and it's a little purple paperclip with a Shakespeare head on it. And it's like, it's our version of Clippy. So we called it Quilly. And his government name is William Clipspear, but we call him Quilly for short.
So Quilly is there to help you out when it detects errors in your application. He'll pop up and say, "Pardon the interruption, and I've detected some console errors. Would you like to fix them?" And you click, fix them, and Shakespeare starts working on the fix. There's also notifications like maybe your key that you were using is, out of credits, out of tokens. Maybe you're low on funds if you're using our branded AI. We'll get to this in a little bit. So he's very helpful just in little tool tips and also fixing bugs and applications too.
I think I know what your top two are. You're gonna
Really?
like the fact that you can choose your own AI provider, and you're gonna like best also the terminal. Am I right? Am I close?
No, but that's a cool feature, and I'll mention it too. So Heather is right. My favorite feature of Shakespeare Act 2 is, I guess it's essentially user choice, right? Because in Act 1, the original version, you had to use the AI provider that we told you had to use. You had to use ours and you didn't have any choice. You had to buy ours or use the free one. And then you didn't have the ability to even run your own. So now with AI providers in Act 2, you can choose through, 40 different models out there, all the major providers like Anthropic and and OpenAI, Gemini, all these major ones, they're all supported, but you can also run your own local Llama, other local instances too. And the API keys, they're not saved on our servers. Like, we don't save any of your content. It's all saved locally. So it's super private. I like that. I like that your AI is now open for you to be your own router. You can change, or you can switch, change, choose any AI LLM that you want to, which is huge. Because let's say I'm a more advanced user and I'm not using the Shakespeare AI. I'm not buying it from us. I'm not using the free version of Shakespeare. Maybe I already have an Anthropic account. Maybe I already have an OpenAI account. In the past, I would have had to have dished out money for something I'm technically already buying from another provider. So this gives me that flexibility if I want to use what I already have and use elsewhere, or it allows me to shop around and get different deals and use different AIs. Like, you can use Open Router if you want to. So you can use Claude Sonnet 4.5 just came out, and we'll talk about that as well. You can use that. And then if you want to switch to a cheaper LLM, like something from ZAI, you can. And you couldn't do that before. So I like that flexibility. My second favorite feature, I think, is Git integration. So
Really? Okay.
yeah. So before, we allowed you to just import from GitLab or GitHub, which is cool. But now, not only can you import, we also have Git integration to where you can push and pull to a repo, but also we have Git integration to the project locally where you have the ability to roll back easily. We've all built something with AI and not liked how it turned out, or
And what?
completely broke everything. And there's no easy undo. So having Git integration means there's version control. So you can go right into the Git settings for a particular project that you're working on, and you can click roll back. And boom, it rolls back to the good working version before you screwed it all up. So I like that. I like that. The terminal's
That is a
cool.
good feature.
So we have terminal now. Heather mentioned terminal. So Act
Mhm.
2 has actually, it has a text editor, so you can go in and actually manually edit the files. I'm not a super dev, so I'm rarely ever going to go in and manually edit the files myself.
Same.
But if I wanted to, you now have a full-blown text editor and full access to all of the files. And if you need to do some more technical stuff, you actually have a full-blown terminal now. So you can do, like, I don't know, if you're building a really advanced application and you're using an external data source, you can like curl the data and look at it to see what it looks like to help maybe prompt the AI on how to do it, write something technical. You can do hex dumps. You can, do your own, create Git branches and all sorts of stuff. So if you want to be geeky, you want to be more technical, you're an advanced user, you're an expert user, you'll love the terminal. You'll love direct access to files. And on top of that, all of this content, all of the files, everything is local to your web browser. That means it's not sitting out on our server somewhere. So not only is your API keys and your GitHub keys and everything private, all of your content is private and local to you too, which is really, really cool. And because of all of that, now you can easily sync your projects from devices. So I could be working on projects here at my house, let's say on my laptop, and I sync it out to GitHub through Shakespeare. I click a button, or I tell the AI, push it to GitHub, whichever method I want to use. And then I log in on my phone. After I sign in on my phone, I add the repo, I import the repo, and boom, it's on my phone. I work on it on
It's
my
there.
phone. When I'm done working on my phone, I push the sync button. It pushes it back out to GitHub. Now I come
So
back.
cool.
I'm on my laptop at home now. I'm ready to work at home. I hit the sync button. It pulls it back down and syncs it. So built-in Git is really, really cool for people on the go. That's why it's my favorite feature.
So when you're vibe coding while you're grilling your steak, are you doing it on your phone or did you carry your laptop out there?
We were talking about that, and I didn't do that, but I technically could, right? I could be sitting there vibe coding on my phone while my steak is grilling, and then when I'm done cooking on the grill, I just hit the sync button, and then I go eat my steak, and then I go sit down at my desk, and I hit the sync button, and I can work on the full-sized, keyboard, mouse, and monitor, everything.
It's what a time to be alive, right?
What a time to be alive. We can use Git effectively. What a time to be alive. But there's several other nice enhancements too with Act 2 that I'll say they're not a favorite feature, but they're a huge feature. So since everything is running locally and we don't have to communicate with Soapbox servers, we're not using these NSPs, these Nostr service providers anymore. So if you had used Shakespeare when we had it Act 1, when it was first launched in beta, maybe you got the dreaded NSP, unable to connect to NSP, reconnect to NSP, error message.
For
That's a
sure.
thing of the past. You'll never see that again because we're not using that technology. We upgraded our technology stack and made it easier for users to manage because it's all, like I said, running locally in their browser.
It's cleaner. If you were using Act 1 before, it would treat you to all the code. Like it would give you previews of code snippets. And like now you're not going to see that. You can, if you want to, you can get into all of those files. And like Derek mentioned, use the terminal if you know what you're doing and you can mess with the code that way. But you're not going to see these like endless streams of code and kind of, I don't know. To me, it was like I would forget where I was because I'd have to like scroll down. You don't have to worry about that anymore. It just does it, and you don't have to see any of that anymore unless you want to. You never have to look at your code unless you want to. So if you're somebody who just the thought of looking at code or any internal guts of a website scares you off because you are non-technical, this is going to be super fun for you because you're just going to be like, hey, Shakespeare, just build me, whatever. And then it's just going to be like, okay. And then just in a couple minutes later, you have whatever you asked it to build.
With the hey, Shakespeare, build me whatever, I think that is one of the hardest ways to kick off your AI development because a lot of times people don't know what to ask. They don't know how to ask. They don't know what they want because this is all new, right? If you've never done development and design and built websites, web applications before, you may not know what you want until you see it.
For sure.
And that's a joke in the tech industry that you'll have developers will be working with customers and they'll make a joke and say something along the lines like, well, they'll know what they want when they see it. Basically meaning the developer has to build something and show it to the customer and have the customer say, oh yeah, this is what I want, or no, I don't want it this way, because it's hard to describe what you want.
I think at the beginning of vibe coding for me, definitely I fell into that realm of like, what do I ask it? What is it going to build? And you learn some things as you go, but also like you could also start with a single line. Like, can you build me this thing? And you can also say something like, don't, build anything yet. Just tell me what it would look like. And then it will give you an answer that you could, I do that. I do that still a lot. Or like, I'll think, I wonder if I ask it to build like this random idea, like what will it come up with? And then I'll see. And then I'll go, okay,
I don't do that for
not...
design a lot, Heather. I do that for technical things. I describe what I want to work technically, and then I try to figure out how I would represent that using Nostr.
So you attack it from the technical angle first?
Yeah. And then I say, I specifically would tell Shakespeare, I would say, don't make any changes or don't make any updates. Would this work this way, A, B, C, D, E, and I describe everything. And then it does all the research and comes back and tells me possible options or possible solutions.
Ask it, though. Like when it comes to like Nostr, because like the point of Shakespeare is that you don't have to know anything about Nostr for it to build you a website.
But there's multiple ways to attack, right?
Yeah, like if you do know it, like I think Shakespeare Act II is for everybody, for like the person who's just going to ask it in a sentence to build something, and then the person like Derek who knows a little bit more about Nostr and a little bit more technical stuff. And then if you're a dev and you know how to code, then you can jump into the code using the terminal that's installed in there. And so like, no matter who you are, you can use this thing and just, for the same purpose of building a website in minutes or building an app in minutes or, whatever your end goal is and whatever your level of experience is, like it's for you. It kind of caters to everybody, like
I
the
think
full
that's
spectrum.
probably the largest takeaway. Act 1 was more specifically for beginners. Act 2 can be from beginner to expert. You should have something for everybody in Shakespeare. We have something for everybody in Shakespeare, where if you're a beginner, an intermediate user, or an expert, there should be a tool for you. And I think that's what Alex ultimately said. He said he wants to build something that he wants to use as his main development environment.
And Alex can code anything.
Yeah. Well,
Pretty much. I
and-
mean, he doesn't need like an assistant, but
and if you're not Alex and you don't have this like massive like Alex brain and you don't know what you
Seriously.
want, we actually have a solution now for that. We have all sorts of different templates on our website where you can go and browse the template library and then just click a button that says edit in Shakespeare, and it will open up the website template in Shakespeare and it'll clone it, automatically add it to your profile, your dashboard, and you can start prompting right away. So if you want a business website and you don't know how to get started, you want a portfolio, something like that, you don't know what to say, or you just need some inspiration, you can browse the showcase, you can browse the template library, you can find something that somebody has already built or submitted or that we've created for you to use as a template, and you can remix it yourself in just a matter of a few words. That's what I think is really cool about that, because now we're giving non-designers, non-developers, non-technical people a place to get started.
yeah. And it's stuff like a template for a wedding site, because I don't know this for sure because I've never built one. I've never gotten married. But don't they make you pay for that? Like, because the wedding industry is like a big business. And so like if you
It's
wanted
been a
to
while
have,
for me. I don't really remember. Like 20 years ago, did we have the internet back then? I think
you
I
weren't
used.
making wedding, I don't know, like
I'm
gift
sure we
sites or
used an
whatever.
online registry 20 years ago. Yeah, I have no
You
clue
think
what that
so?
website was. Oh yeah, I know we did.
You probably didn't
I
do it. Your
can,
wife probably
yeah,
did it.
because I can remember going to the website. It was like thenot.com, maybe. I
I
don't
think that's
remember.
still
It's
there. And
20 years.
I think it might cost
But I
you
do
money. I've
remember
seen a lot
going
of
to a
couples.
website and filling stuff out.
Yeah, a lot of couples I know
Well,
will just use that.
that was early internet. It was probably free back then. Now they want to charge you and mine
Everything
your
was
data.
free back then, and it's probably like a service now, because you get engaged and you make the website, and then it's another fee throughout the engagement until you get married and get done with your gift site, your gift registry, or whatever. So like, hey, just make it on Shakespeare, and you're not going to have that problem if that
I think
problem
that's a good idea for an
exists.
application.
Again, that's kind of like what I'm looking at for
Like I
Shakespeare.
like it.
Yeah, like if it's an app that you want, that you don't want to have to be locked into paying a monthly subscription fee for the rest of your life or like until your wedding or whatever, like, use Shakespeare for it. Save yourself some money.
I actually had a conversation about this with you and with other musicians this past week, where yourself and other musicians, podcasters, are paying a monthly fee to have their podcast.
Oh yeah, we
They're
did have
paying
this
the
talk.
subscription fee, and it absolutely works. The service absolutely works, but paying $50 a month for something that you're literally not getting $50 of value out of it, unfortunately. So you need a cheaper, better alternative. And if you could remix something and you could edit something and use, I'm talking about Podster in this case, but it doesn't have to be Podster. It could be any tool out there that we have in the showcase, or any tool out there that we have in the template library, and you can take it upon yourself to build it and use yourself.
For example, one of the things that was behind building Treasures, which is our geocaching game kind of website, it's treasures.to. One of the ideas there was that our folks at Soapbox love geocaching, but there start to be fees, and I've never paid those fees. So I don't know if they add up, but if geocaching is your long-term hobby and you've got to pay a monthly fee, for years and years and years, it may not be as fun. And I know like times
It
are
adds
hard.
up.
Sometimes people have to cut, their fun things. And so then you're cutting the Netflix and you're cutting, oh, my geocaching thing that I like to do, or maybe some gaming thing that you like to do. And like, look, we're not going to replace the Xbox with our video games. However, you can build the video game that you like and have it be yours and have it be open source. And you can kind of make whatever you want now. And, vibe coding, definitely a hobby for Derek and I, for sure. But you can also support your hobbies with the vibe coding. So like vibe coding doesn't have to be your hobby, but it can support the hobbies that you have.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It all gets back to that value proposition where you want it to be valuable to you and or create value itself. There's a cost association obviously to everything. So let's
sure.
let's move on from Shakespeare Act II. I'll just say, check it out. Please leave questions, comments. Let us know what we can do to make it better, easier. I'm using it. Heather's using it. Everybody at Soapbox is using it. It really, really is amazing. I'm blown away by what it can do. And if you sign in with Nostr, it'll read your Nostr profile and know a little
That's
bit about you.
another fun thing. Yeah. If you open up Shakespeare, say, who am I? And it will tell you, just like the old school terminal thing. You get in a terminal and you ask your terminal, who am I? And it says, you're Heather Larson. You could do this in Shakespeare where you ask it who you are because you're signed in.
It'll know your NPub. It'll know your profile, all your addresses. So this is useful if you want to build like a personal website, portfolio, whatnot. It already has all your information. So really cool stuff.
Times.
Check it out. Let us know what you think. And Shakespeare's going to be getting better all the time.
We're here for feedback.
Such as an Android app that I'm running on my phone, and it works really.
What Android app? Did you build an Android app off of Shakespeare?
I didn't build an Android app. Mr. Alex Gleason built an Android app.
Okay.
And I'm running it on my phone. Yeah. I was nervous because I'm an Android maxi. Like, you know how there's like toxic Bitcoin maxis? I used to be a toxic Android maxi.
Used to be.
I mean, once you go toxic, you never go back.
There's no rehab for that.
Yeah. I was very nervous because I didn't want to be critical if it was bad, but I would have been because I'm a transparent guy. At least I try to be, and I didn't have to be a dick. It was good. Like I was surprised.
A rare moment.
I know.
You were nice.
No, I am nice. What are you talking about, Heather? No, nice. It was good.
I give him that.
Really, it was good. I was very surprised. Some UI elements we have to work on to make it, some of the buttons here and there, back button, some of the prompt buttons, stuff like that. But yeah, it's going to work and it's going to be really sweet and you'll be able to have Shakespeare AI on your phone. So I'm excited for that.
Just Android.
On Android, yeah. It'll probably never come to iOS unless like hell freezes over. So there is a
Apple
chance.
tax.
Yeah. Yeah,
maybe
we'll
it's
see.
a PWA. Maybe.
I got switch to Android.
There you go. I'm not going to switch to Android. I don't know. Not yet.
You
anyway.
wouldn't switch to Android for Shakespeare?
I hate Android. I hate it. Well, I mean, I don't vibe code on my phone, but no, I don't like. I'm going to be honest. I don't like the UI of Android. Like I tried to text message somebody.
I don't like the
Android
UI on
phone.
Apple. It looks
I don't
like
really
a goddamn cartoon.
It's very Disney. It's very.
It's very.
But yeah,
Disney.
I don't like the user experience at all on Android.
I'll tell you what. If I'm being completely honest, the iOS experience and the Android experience are very, very similar today. That it doesn't really matter what you use. You can use whatever you want. However, 10 years ago, the UIs, the features were very, very different.
I didn't like it then. That's probably when I tried it last.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think at some point Apple will make me mad and I will just be like, you know what? How bad do I need a cell phone?
The walled garden doesn't make you mad enough? Come on,
I know, right? It's
all right. I'm going to shame you I'm going to shame you for a second. You understand decentralized money. You understand decentralized communication, but you like walled gardens for all of your technology.
I wouldn't say I like walled garden. I just say there's 21 years of background, 21 years of sunken
You know what?
energy
This is
and
a whole
cost.
other show
It
about
is.
mobile platform lock-in and how they make it so you can't easily leave.
It would be great if there was an option C, because if there
Yes.
was not just Android versus
99% of
Apple.
all mobile devices are either Android or iOS. That's
and there's
insane. There's
there's
no
no way to
other
compete.
choice.
Things
Yeah.
would really change in the world if we had a third competitor. If we just had more competition in tech, period. But if we had more cell phone carrier competition, there are a few industries that are a little too tight and don't have
next
enough
week
competition.
on Mobile Sessions with Derek and Heather,
we geek out on things. We also like to argue. But what's next on the agenda, Derek Ross? We got to move on before we start fighting all day about this.
We didn't have mobile on here. What are we doing?
I know, it is a tangent. Got to reel you back in. Come back.
I like a loose agenda, right? Where we can
this is good.
We can just talk back and forth and have fun.
We are loose people, okay?
Whoa,
people know us as that.
Whoa. You speak for yourself.
We're a little
now.
informal. We like to have a little fun.
Okay,
on
there
the
we go.
Nostr.
Informal. All right.
There we go.
Talk about my virtue.
Your virtue. We're going to church. God bless you, Derek Ross. God bless us, everyone.
So let's talk about some brief Nostr news.
Oh yeah, there's always Nostr news. There's always a lot of it, though.
Yeah, there's a little bit of Nostr news. I think we're going to focus on Nostr music news because there's two topics I want to talk about.
Oddly enough, yes.
Oddly enough, one is Suzanne Santo joined Nostr.
Yes.
Now, whenever I saw her join, I said, "Hey, that name sounds familiar." And then I watched her video.
Met her.
I was like, "Oh, well, yeah." Spoilers. I'm like, "Wait a second. I met her in Austin a year ago. She's a musician. Okay, cool."
Mm-hmm.
And what did she say in her video? That she had songs on Spotify that had millions of downloads, yet one song on Fountain yielded more money than her millions and millions of listens and whatever. That's insane.
Exactly.
I love to hear it, though. I love to hear it.
By the time this episode is released,
but I love to hear it that we are able to support creators.
Yes, she's releasing a new song. So by the time this episode of Soapbox Sessions is out, you will be able to hear Suzanne's new song by just popping on to Fountain and hearing it, because she's got that one song on there now that me and Derek know, and we've seen her perform in Austin at Antone's last year.
I know all the words.
Oh my God, I love her music. She's got this just soulful Americana voice.
I remember her being on stage. Yeah, I remember because she was there. She was there early for the setup. What do they call it? I can't think of the word.
Our sound check.
Whatever. Sound check. There we go. Sound check.
Yes.
I'm in the music industry. I know these words. She was there for sound check, and I remember meeting her there and talking with her afterwards. And yeah, she's really talented. So I'm excited to get more content from her, more music from her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, multi-instrumentalist, terrific, just great.
On the music front, yesterday, Fod, friend of Derek, Binish, who's in the music industry, made a post about something called Demu, and I didn't know what it was. He was claiming that we shouldn't be using we shouldn't be using Wave Lake for various reasons, and said that we should be using these open source, RSS distributed music. And he went on this really long rant about essentially saying, hey, if you understand decentralization, why are you using a closed platform that doesn't blah, 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 blah. And I get that argument, and I understand their plight now, because I looked into it, and Demu is just short for decentralized music, and it sounds like Emu,
never take off.
And that's close to a Nostrich.
I'm gonna argue Demu is the dumbest sounding thing, and it's never taking off. But I can also argue that the phrase value for value is
it sounds like
better.
Emu. It sounds like Emu, and Emu is a cousin of an ostrich.
Emu. Yeah, Liberty Mutual.
And,
yeah. So yeah, we don't have a good phrase that pays. Okay, Demu is bad. I think value for value is bad,
and we're not getting paid for it.
We need better terminology than both of those terms, because look, neither one of them's taken off, and we've been doing this a couple years. So we gotta find another way to express the idea to the public so that people understand.
It's just
how
music.
It works. Yeah, it's just music.
It's
It's
just
independent
music.
music. It is sticking a middle
I don't think
finger
that-
to record
I
labels
don't think
and the
calling
like.
it decentralized music is bad because that's what it is, but you don't
I do
bill
because
it as
I don't think that
Demu.
people
You just bill it as this app.
well people aren't
Just like-
picking up on the decentralized
Just like
word.
Nostr. We shouldn't be billing it as Nostr. We should be billing it as the Amethyst app or the Damus app or the
Yeah, I mean it's built
Primal
on
app.
Nostr and it's but yeah, people don't care about words like decentralized. They don't because everybody is the majority of society is
don't.
very centralized and they don't see.
But it doesn't
not a lot of
matter.
people are seeing the problem.
Nobody goes out there and says, "Hey, are you using the HTTPS? Hey, are you using the
Yeah.
POP3?" No one says that. They just say, "I'm using the
Exactly,
web
like-
and I'm using email." They don't talk about
The
protocol.
buzzwords
So if people
haven't
want to
caught on.
call it decentralized music, I think that's fine.
It's fine, but it's not going to get us anywhere. But there's no terminology that has got us anywhere so far when it comes to the music. So,
They just,
and sometimes I think some people are having the wrong arguments.
Like-
it's all music. It's independent music though. No, it's not Taylor Swift.
If the
so
app
there's
is
a
a value for
distinction
value
between.
app and it's called value for value music, just call it that. The name doesn't matter.
I wish because we need a way to describe
So-
it to
so
people
let's
who
get
are new
back
to it.
So that's really cool. So Suzanne Santo is bringing her music to Nostr. And speaking of music on Nostr, I'm sure a lot of us in this space have used the Wavelake app for music. And if you haven't, you should check it out. It's a music app that is built on Nostr for playing music. One of the creators of that application, his name is Sam Means, and he's an actual rock star, right, Heather?
He
Like,
is-
didn't
he
you see
is.
him in concert this past week?
I did Saturday night.
Right,
This
like you
was a
saw him
huge
play.
thing. Yes, I saw him play. I posted all the videos on Nostr. Sam is a multi-instrumentalist and a singer, and he is in the band The Format, which is a legendary local Arizona band. Saturday night was the reunion, and I never got to see The Format the first time 20-something years ago. I missed it. My friend and I got lost. We had a bad address. I don't know. We probably still had MapQuest back then. You know, this is like a good 25 years ago. So I never got to see
Yahoo
The
Maps.
Format the first time, and I don't remember when I put two and two together and realized that Sam Means was in The Format band. You know, Sam Means, who helps us here with Nostr Phoenix and who also runs Wavelake. I was like,
And
holy cow,
Lightning
this
Store.
is- and lightning.store. So the irony of this too was the reunion show. They decided we don't care. They said this on stage. We don't care if we fill Veterans Memorial Coliseum, which is at the State Fair. We don't care if it's half empty. Let's just do the reunion show at this particular venue. This is the most Arizona thing we could do. They sold out the show, which is fantastic. And thank God I was indoors at Veterans Memorial Coliseum because we actually saw the show in an actual lightning storm. We had flooding
Wow.
and a ton of lightning, and it was, you know, just wild that, you know, the guy who calls himself Lightning Store played.
From your photos, it looked like the place was sold out. Like it was
was sold out.
insane the amount of people that were there. He must be an actual like local, like regional legend to be able to fill that
Yes.
venue.
One
That was
of
insane.
the most legendary bands of Arizona, for sure. And it's an indie band
So-
that people know across the country too.
So because I'm not from that part of the country, I had never heard of The Format. A year ago in Nostriga, a bunch of us had an Airbnb together. Will and Vanessa from Damus, we shared an Airbnb, and we invited a bunch of Nostr devs and friends back to our Airbnb to hang out and talk and have some beverages and food and whatnot. And someone said, "Hey, let's put on some music." And then someone else said, "Oh, hey, let's listen to Sam." And I didn't know who they meant at first. And then they're playing the song,
Really?
and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty good. This is pretty cool." And they're like, "Yeah, this is Sam." I'm like, "Sam who?" They're like, "Sam Means." It's like, "Oh, like Sam Means, like Wavelake Sam Means, Lightning Store Sam Means." And they're like, "Yeah." I was like, "I didn't know he had a band." Like, "Oh yeah, he was like borderline famous years ago." I'm like, "Wait, what?"
So do you
I
know
didn't
who else
know
is in the
any of
band?
this.
Do you know that the
No.
lead singer is Nate Roos, and he is in the band Fun, and he's also sung some famous songs with Pink. So he
Okay.
is the lead singer of The Format, and then Sam is the guitarist, and there's more than one guitarist in the band, obviously. Also Marco, and he also plays the keys. So
I didn't
Yeah.
know any of this. I've hung out. Well, I mean, I have for the past year, but a year ago, after I'd already met Sam 2 different times, like I just thought he was a badass guy that ran Lightning Store, was an
Because
artist because the designs from Lightning Store are really cool, and
Sam's very humble.
he just happened to also work on Wavelake. Like I didn't
Yeah.
know that
Sam
his
is
music
never,
roots went deeper. I didn't know
he's
that.
no, he's never going to tell you, yeah, I'm Sam and I've got Lightning Store and I've got Wavelake
Yeah,
and I've
well,
got this business and I've got this famous band. Like he never ever connects the dots or tells people anything about himself. He's just a nice, kind person who
he
doesn't talk
is.
about himself.
I've had beers with Sam. I've hung out with Sam bullshit at a party all night long. Like he is a good guy, and I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, Sam, I
So
will shout out
that's
Sam.
awesome that he is doing a reunion tour. Like
Yeah,
what they're doing also Arizona, Los Angeles, I think I saw.
New York. There's a couple shows in New York.
And in New York too? Wow.
Major cities. So like I will say, remember when we were in Vegas and we were at We All Scream was the name of the venue.
We All Scream, yes.
We
were
did a
there.
Value for Value show there. Sam was roadieing with me. This is how humble Sam is. Sam was roadieing with me. We didn't have enough people to work the door all night, so Sam was working the door with me. And then Sam and I just let everybody in. We're just like, whatever, come party with us, whatever.
Yeah.
But that's Sam's very
awesome.
humble. He's not too good
That is
for anything.
awesome.
So
I
yeah,
think,
that's legendary.
I think that kind of like wraps it up for Nostr news. Didn't have a whole lot of real exciting stuff. I almost forgot. There's 2 major Nostr events coming up, right? We got to mention them.
Like,
have
we're
Nostr.
organizing one of them.
I'm organizing one of them. Like, man,
How
I
can you
forgot
forget?
about the event that I'm organizing. That's bad.
That's how busy you are.
That's how busy. I know I'm so busy. All right, so Nostr Valley is coming up very soon. It's on October 18th, so about a week from today that you're listening to this, probably. I have the schedule. The schedule was just finalized a few hours
ago. Hold it back from me.
Yes. So I'm gonna give some Nostr Valley alpha, and I'm gonna talk about the schedule real quick. So we're gonna start off with Manny doing a Nostr for social apps.
I love Manny.
Manny's he's a FAW and a FOD, right? Like Manny's a good
everybody.
person.
We love the devs.
Manny is a great person, and he's very intelligent. He's a Nostr developer, but he gets Nostr. So I'm really excited to hear his introduction for the event. Then up next is Heather. She is going to talk about how creators use Nostr.
Yes.
I'm excited for that because I think that we're going to have a couple creators in the audience from the younger crowd. So I think that'll be a good talk for them.
Good.
Then next up, we're going to hear from Mandana and Ian, where they presented at Nostr Valley last year talking about their company called Next Block.
This is so cool.
Their topic this year is about mining Bitcoin with your attention on Billboard.
Ooh,
so I'm
like
wondering is if they rebranded Next Block to Billboard, because that was their whole premise last year, is that you would earn Bitcoin with your attention. You would choose to watch advertisements and get paid for it. So I'm really excited for that.
Cool.
Then next up is yours truly. I'm going to talk about Shakespeare and vibe coding and being able to build apps for your community like never before. I'm probably going to say digital spaghetti at least like 6 times. Like
he's going to say nerd sniping a lot too. A lot of vibe coding with Shakespeare. That'll be cool because we have Act 2 out now, so that'll be great.
Next up will be Open Mike and Ainsley Costello, and you will be the moderator on this panel talking about value for value and the music industry and how we can do better by it through Nostr and Bitcoin.
Yeah.
The next session will be Seth, my co-organizer of the Nostr Valley event. He's going to talk about building niche communities because he has an app called Zap.cooking, and it's one of these other stuff application that, you know, it's kind of, you know, cooking recipes, foodies, you know, it's a niche community. So he's going to talk about building those types of communities. Then TK, he's going to talk about his Nostr TV iOS app.
That's right.
Yeah.
I got to test that one.
Yeah. So the app's on test flight. You should check it out if you have an Apple TV. It's called Nostr TV. And it's essentially Nostr live streams on your TV. Pretty cool. And then we're going to end the event having a panel from multiple people, kind of a state of Nostr. How do we grow Nostr? It's been a year, looking back over the past year, and have we grown? Have we improved? So
Well, we
I'm looking
definitely
forward to that.
improved. That's a good
We
lineup. That sounds good.
Yeah, we grew as people. Did we grow as user base? I don't know. So
well,
we're going
we
to talk
don't know
about it.
because we don't have Nostr band as our
Yeah. We
single source
used
of
to
truth.
know, but our one point of statistics has been down for a while.
I would say that the indicators of health for me are, I know that breaking news is always going to be on Nostr, like the way it used to be on Twitter. And I think that's an indicator of health. And I think there are more people with varied interests joining Nostr too. I'm starting to see that trickle in. So I'm going to say that Nostr's on the right path.
And I'll tell you what, the past 3 or 4 months, I personally think Nostr has had a little bit of a decline. But that makes sense because we're all about the touch and grass crowd. The crowd of Nostr wants to be outside touching grass during the summertime.
The anti-social media crowd trying to use a bunch of apps that are social.
Yeah. So we're outside, we're vacationing, we're soaking up the sun, we're gardening, we're doing cookouts, we're grilling. Like, we're not social mediaing as much.
Yeah, Nostr is definitely for the people who are tired of the social media things like algorithms and
so that'll be a good panel.
Yeah.
That's coming up that's coming up October 18th. October 18th. Now, if you're not able to make it to Pennsylvania on October 18th, there's another Nostr event happening 1 week later in Nashville, Tennessee. It will be the third Nostrville. We had Nostrville 2 years ago, 2 years ago. And then last year was Nostrville 2.0, and we're
Nostrville
back.
being Nashville?
Nashville in Nostr, yeah. Nostrville 3.0 will actually we're going to have some talks, some community-oriented discussions, not real conference-y vibes, just a kind of a networking chill feel, but there'll be some people there talking, and we'll do some kind of workshopping. We are going to do a value for value musician talk. And then we're going to have Joe Martin and Ainsley Costello perform live for us. So that's
I
really
want to
cool.
see. I'm looking at flights. We'll see if I book a flight. We'll see. We'll see.
I've never seen Joe Martin play live. I'd like to because he's a talented guy. And
because
my
we're
girl
stuck in the
Ainsley,
US.
I got to watch her too because she's super talented.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to seeing all of my Nashville friends because there's a nice Nashville Nostr and Bitcoin community there.
But yeah. That'll be worth going to. So yeah,
well,
I'll keep looking at those flights, Derek.
Maybe I'll see you there. I'm doing something crazy and I'm bringing the whole family. It's going to be fun.
Awesome. So I can hang out with Mrs. Ross 2 weekends in a row.
Could. I'm bringing the kids. We're going to go to the Nashville Music Museum, Music Hall of Fame thing.
Cool.
So we can get a little bit of music education while we're there.
Nice.
I think the kids will like that. Maybe we'll go to the Gibson Guitar Factory or something too, just to try to make something a little fun. Since we're gonna essentially rush down, do the Nostr stuff, and then rush home. So we're gonna have some time Saturday morning and Sunday morning to go to do these things. I'm excited.
That'd be a good family memory for sure.
Yeah. You gotta do that. You gotta build memories with your children, so that way when they're old and they're like, man, I remember the time my mom and dad took me to do this thing, and it's something they have with them their whole lives, and they can look back on it, and then they pass that memory on, that learning experience as memories on to their own kids and so forth. It's how you pass on your legacy. Yeah.
Well, shall we read some boosts, Derek? Or did we miss anything yet?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got to read them boosts because we don't want to let people down. They sent us, speaking of legacy, they sent us some of the hardest money known to man, Bitcoin. So we have to give them support. We have to read their boosts. Do you want to read these or me?
I'll read some. Yeah. We got shout out to Bernie91 sent us 210 sats. What is that, like $2? Just saying on
someday that will be $2. Now that's like
how much is that?
Can't do math. That's like 10 cents.
I have the Sats Price app.
20 cents.
20 cents. All right. So 20 cents. All right. So yeah, someday it'll be generational.
It doesn't
wealth.
matter how much it is. It's the thought that
That's
counts.
true.
210 sats is awesome. I will take
Mhm.
210 sats from any listener any day. Thank you for
I'm
your support.
happy. Any boost just shows me that you're listening, and then I can read
Yeah.
your comment, and that's so cool.
It's the
'cause then-
best form of feedback that
well,
we
and
have.
then I could click through to Bernie 91's profile and follow on Nostr. So then it's like now we're
You could.
friends. You know, so that's kind of the point of being able
Is this how Bernie becomes a FOD?
This is how it
Or
starts.
a FAW?
We start
Ooh.
stalking you because you zapped us some sats. You know, you probably
know
didn't want
what?
us to stalk you, but we are.
Every boost that I see, I go in and I like and I zap back and I boost. Like
That's
just to
because you're
try
the
to-
welcome wagon of Nostr. Like that's your
Jeff
role.
Booth. Jeff Booth literally said that in front of everybody.
He is the welcome wagon of Nostr. Okay, next boost.
Next boost.
Boost Nick. 5,000 sats. That is a huge zap. You know,
5,000 sats is a huge boost. Now that
Huge
actually
boost.
is multiple dollar values. That's like
Yeah.
$6.
Right?
That's like a
that's a coffee somewhere. Not where I live, but that's
that should be like 2 coffees. That should be
That
like
should be
5 coffees.
the cool thing.
Things are
though,
too
is,
damn
like,
expensive.
I don't know. Do you do this when you listen to podcasts on Fountain?
Bitcoin fixes this.
I pay sats per minute so that if I forget to boost or whatever, like no matter what, I'm boosting podcasts with sats because it's just happening automatically.
Friend of the show, Open Mike, he does that. I know that because if I go into our supporters and I look at our supporters, he's probably our number one supporter, and
Yes.
I don't ever see individual boosts from him. So I know that he's doing the sats streaming per minute when he listens.
He likes
So
to
thank
do
you very much, Open Mike.
the per minute. I think he does a little boost at the end too. I think he goes both ways in that respect. Does both. But back to Mick's big boost of 5,000 sats, because I wanted to read his comment, because not only a big boost, but also a very thoughtful comment saying, great episode. Love the concept of digital spaghetti and throwing out a bunch of low to no cost stuff and seeing what sticks. That's a
Yes.
really sticky phrase that captures the mentality
Yes.
I need to embrace more for the good of the Nostr ecosystem.
Yes,
That's what we're about.
Mick, you know what? I think there's a bromance going on here. You get me. You get my phrase. If I'm not following you already, I'm going to start following you now. Thank you for getting me. I love you, I think.
It is a bromance. We're all about
It
the
is a
bromance.
bromance.
Here, we also have another boost. This one from Jojo Bear, and says 500 sats here, which is good.
It's like
Woo.
$500.
All aboard the Nostr train. Let's
All
see.
aboard the Nostr train.
This is
Thank
a
you,
good one.
Jody. Thank you.
Somebody says, Derek Ross, you having a strike address in the feed for yourself and not being able to grab the metadata from that is what we're working on with Podcasting 2.0 right now. That's Chad F.
That's Chad.
Yeah.
He gave us 333 sats and a little bit of Podcasting 2.0 alpha technical information. So I appreciate that. I can use that. Actually, I tried. I tried after I saw this comment and couldn't get it to work, but thank you, Chad. I appreciate the information, brother.
Yeah, and it boosts that to help Derek nerd snipe himself to make more features for Podster.
That's literally what happened. I read that. I'm like, oh man, got to work on it. Chad, you made me nerd snipe myself. Damn
That's
you.
what happens. Nobody makes him nerd snipe himself, folks. He just does it. He's making an excuse. He's going to do it anyway. He's going to get an idea, and he's going to nerd snipe himself, no matter what.
So I'm going to read out real quick our top supporters. We have 5 top supporters. Open Mike with 11,000 sats. Mick with 5,000. Odyssey Westra with about 4,500. Oscar Mary with about 1,700. And Mal with about 1,500. So
That's
thank
amazing.
you all for your
We have
zaps. They're greatly
fans.
appreciated. Thank you for
I'm
your
gonna
boosts.
cry.
They're
Wow.
greatly appreciated. Yeah.
This
You
is
know,
very
it's
cool.
the best form of feedback. It lets us know people are listening and people appreciate that we're doing it. We're not just, doing this to, I mean, kind of we are doing it just to dog food podster, but we're also doing it because we like to
That's
do
not
it
the only
and we
reason.
like to create the content.
It's the first time, I think, for me that podcasting is a two-way street where you're not talking into the void. And certainly many years of
Yes,
radio.
that's a good point.
I'd be on the air and you're in a room with a microphone by yourself and you're not getting feedback a lot of the time unless they're calling in or texting in the text club or maybe you get an email from a listener. But this makes creating something and putting it out into the world finally a two-way street where you're getting to know your listeners.
Zaps are like the phone call in the radio world.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. And but a lot of radio stations don't do that anymore because there aren't people who are alive on the air anymore. Like you don't even know.
Remember,
it could be an AI
back
person
in the 80s, 90s, calling into the radio station and requesting your song, and then you'd have to listen for like hours just to hear your song play. That's so foreign. That's so wild that we did that.
Hey, we were still doing that about 25 years ago. It's fallen by the wayside, but it's still like. And as a DJ, I would get to know some of the people because you would get people who called in regularly.
Repeat
That's kind of like your
callers,
regular. Boosters, you get to know who they are and they're listening and they're giving you feedback. And sometimes people, they give us feedback on Nostr. They respond to a post on Nostr and give us ideas for the podcast of things that we should talk about too. So that's cool too.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
So let's talk about a little bit of AI news. Let's move on here. Thanks again for the boosts. AI news, AI keeps moving forward. I want to touch on some AI provider announcements. We actually had 3 of them in the course of probably less than 48 hours,
That's how fast
as soon as one major company announced their new model, others scramble. Everybody's been waiting for the big guy, for Anthropic Claude Sonnet or 0.5 to drop. As soon as that dropped, they release all their metrics and they say how good it is and blah, 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 blah. And they release all the technical information. Everybody starts trying it. And then the next company says, me too. Hey, by the way, we have a model that you should check out.
It's great competition.
Yeah. So ZAI announced GLM 4.6, the same day, I think, maybe, that Claude 4.5 was announced, which is hilarious because I love ZAI. And they actually worked with us to fix some Shakespeare bugs that we were having. Yeah. So they're a great company for that, for them working with us. But it's also kind of funny because a lot of people think that ZAI used Claude to train their model. So it's funny that Claude announces 4.5 and then GLM comes back. Yeah, but we're one higher. We have 4.6.
It is a good
version
race.
Numbers don't mean anything. They really don't.
Yeah, but everybody's one-upping one another, or at least trying to, and it's healthy to have that kind of competition. It leads to innovation, and in the end, we win because we're using these things, and it gets better.
Yeah, and then another Chinese model company, DeepSeek, they announced the version 3.2 just 2 days ago. So we have 3 new AI models from 2 Chinese AI companies that are moving at blistering speeds to catch up to U.S. companies. And we have the juggernaut Anthropic launching Claude Sonnet 4.5. And as somebody that likes to nerd snipe myself, Heather, as soon as I saw 4.5 was out there, I obviously stopped everything I was doing and started to work on something with 4.5 because I wanted to see how well it would do. And
I expect no less from you. He was I gotta get off the phone. I gotta lock the door. Nobody talk to me.
I was literally in a meeting and I'm sitting there twitching, is the meeting over? Is the meeting I needed the
That is a sign of addiction. Somebody who was once an addiction professional, that is a sign of some chemical withdrawal if you're starting to twitch.
Didn't you make an app about this today?
I did. I had a very simple prompt and it made a very simple website. I will read you my exact prompt so that when people are what do I prompt Shakespeare with? I said, build me a website that makes AI a higher power like Jesus and gives the 12 steps of AA and replace every instance of alcohol with vibe coding. Make the site full of angels and Jesus. Mock photos are okay. And make the site look very ethereal, dreamy, therapeutic, and inspirational. And it went and did exactly that and made a recovery website for people who are addicted to vibe coding. It did the 12 steps of being addicted to vibe coding. You got to admit that you're powerless over the vibe coding, Derek, and that your life has become
powerless over the vibe. I've become one with the vibe. And once the vibe finds you, it's hard to let go because it's just so damn easy to
I know.
create anything that you want. So
Especially for you and me and the manual labor that we had to do to
as you
make
get
a
better
website.
at it, as you become more familiar with it, and as you learn how to talk to AI, and like it's that dopamine hit.
It gets
It
addictive.
really is.
I thought of an app today and I asked Shakespeare to make it, and I don't even know what it looks like because I went off to do something else. And then by the time I went back to look at it, it was done and I had to go. I'm working. Like it was time to record the podcast. I was like, oh, I'll have to come back to this later because you could just have it going in the background. You just have it making apps all day while you're doing other work and stuff. It's just like, it's so cool.
So tell me about this AI Jesus 12-step vibe coding program. Like does AI Jesus like
impressed.
pop up like Clippy and he's like, "Hello, son. I can see that you're having an addiction problem."
I'm going to ask it to build that now. So it took each. So I'm a sober person. I've been sober forever, right? So I just wanted to see if it would do it.
Congratulations.
And of course it does it. Thank you. I had it take all of the 12 steps and rework them. And so instead of being addicted to alcohol, you're addicted to vibe coding. So like step 1, it says we admitted we were powerless over vibe coding, that our lives had become unmanageable. And then it gets hilarious because each of the 12 steps are reworded. And step 2 is the belief in a higher power, right? We came to believe that AI, a power greater than ourselves, could restore us to sanity. So I made AI the higher power. Okay.
Oh, so AI itself is the higher power.
It is the higher. It is the God or the higher power. And like, because AA people, like, because I'm an AA person, so AA people will tell you, like, because most people come to AA and they're like, you need a higher power, and people are like, well, I'm an atheist, and then they'll say, well, a doorknob could be your higher power, and anything could be your higher power, and so like AI could be your higher power, which is just kind of a play on how much we love our AI and our tools and things.
Serious question. Is Claude Sonnet 4.5, could he be my AI Jesus? And
I think he already is.
And then you could maybe have ZAI GLM 4.6 being your AI Jesus.
I mean, Shakespeare Act II
would be your AI Jesus?
Would be my higher power, because if I have a problem, I tend to go to Shakespeare to solve it now. Like, build me an app, so it could be my
I never
power.
thought we would have a crossover between religion and AI, but here we are.
Well, I'll call it spirituality because it's not really religion, but it's just, it was a funny take on the fact that everybody now knows that Derek is the most, like you were originally the Nostr evangelist, and you still are, but you've now become an AI expert. You're a subject matter
expert.
Not an expert. You're a vibe coding
expert. I talk about it a lot, but I'm definitely not an expert. There's so much to learn.
You're a vibe coding addict. I think you vibe code in your sleep.
Yeah, well, I'll say I don't in my sleep, but you know what? While I'm in the shower thoughts are happening. And the vibes are flowing as the water flows.
Well, it started because Soap Miner on Nostr said, I think Derek's higher power is AI. And that led to the thought. And I was like, vibe coding is addictive. And maybe as Soapbox, we should put out like a hotline and
like being able to create.
Is
addictive, and build is addictive.
Right. And gambling is an addiction. It's a process addiction. People are addicted to doing the thing.
I never really gambled.
Well, yeah, me neither. I'm not into it. But, and so like people at casinos will have like 800 numbers up. Like, if you have a problem gambling, call this number. So I thought, well, like, what if we did a funny take on this? And I just vibe coded a comedy website of like, if you think you have a problem vibe coding, you need to come to this website and practice the 12 steps of Vibe Coders Anonymous, basically.
But I think this is kind of hilarious, and I think we need to polish it off and it just be like a spoof fun thing and then post it like all over the internet.
Oh, yeah, because it's cheesy as hell. It's so funny.
It's cheesy, but it's funny.
What it came up with.
It reminds me of, all these different like spoof things with social media that people would do years ago. Like just ridiculous stuff, but you did it for the lulz,
I think
this falls in those lines. Oh, we got prayers?
Oh yeah, it's merciful AI. When the urge to vibe code overwhelms me, be my fortress and my refuge. Remind me that true fulfillment comes not from mindless coding, but from creating with intention and love. It's just It's so over the top. Like, and
You know
the
what?
prayers go on and
I
on.
want to take some of those prayers
Huh?
as a prompt and paste it into AI and like, please build me this thing, but use that as the prompt, and see
It's
what you
just
get.
it's funny the AI knows all about the 12 steps and praying and
Which AI
angels.
did you use?
That was a Claude.
That was a Claude. Well, Anthropic did buy and destroy a
Yeah, this was
million
Sonnet
books.
4.
So one of the books it must have read was, the
It's
12
public
step.
domain, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
been around for what, 85, 90 years, the whole Alcoholics Anonymous book. So it should just be out there, but it's just so funny that the way I asked it was simple, and I was like, will it make me something totally over the top? And it did. You never know what you're going to get, and then I figured I would be pleasantly surprised with it because it would go for it. It does what you ask it to do. It went there.
Prompting is like a box of chocolate.
You never know.
You never know what you're going to get.
This is the Forrest
Let's
Gump
talk
of
about some
AI.
other AI news here. Heather, you attended some AI-esque startup
I
summit,
did.
virtual summits over this past week. What did you
Yes.
learn? What are people into out there? What are they excited
Yeah.
about? What are they doing? What do they want?
Couple random things because we at Soapbox, we're not big tech, we're the opposite of that, we're open source. So I went to the Startup Grind AI Summit. That's very big tech, very VC and whatnot, and a couple things that they were really into, right? But I wanted to see what the trends are in Silicon Valley and voice agents. That's one thing they were talking about, where if you build with AI, we love the phone tree, right? You tell it what to do and it drives you nuts. Like that sort of thing, but better. Like if you wanted to put a voice agent on your website, like if you're a plumbing company, and people could talk to your voice agent. Like voice agents were kind of hot, which is
Talk to your chat bots, right?
that could be, but a step further where you're making an app that works with voice. So like your AI agent would talk back to your customers. Like that's next level stuff. So they seem to be interested in that right now. And also another thing that was mentioned was the reinforcement learning from human feedback, or the RLHF, which is a machine learning thing that combines reinforcement learning techniques, so like rewards and things like that, which, AI, the learning aspect of it to help students learn has always fascinated me. So I thought that would be cool. Like if your kid's having trouble in school, and, maybe the robot knows exactly where to pick up their math lesson or their spelling or whatever, like, so that the kids don't have to sit through stuff they already know. Like there's got to be a good application in education. So that was a hot topic. And then something more familiar to Derek and I, they said the trending hot topic was MCPs, model context protocol. So they were talking about that. I'm like, oh God, we've been talking about those at Soapbox for some time. So there's just like three trendy
for
things.
those of you that don't know what MCP means, think of it as a highly customized AI server that has all the information about a specific topic. So AIs know a lot. These large language models know a lot, but maybe they don't have very specific information about something. Let's say they don't know all the ins and outs of Nostr, for example. So we can build this server, this documentation, all the resources and everything to teach AI specifically all about how Nostr works in this MCP, this AI server, essentially. So then these large language models connect to that very specific dedicated server to enhance what it can do for that very specific topic that you're trying to use.
So it's
all the
hot
rage.
topic.
You could build an MCP for anything and everything. Whatever niche that you live and work in, you can build an MCP for it. So maybe you build an MCP for forestry, and it has all the forestry documentation on everything. It's just massive library of forestry documentation, and then you go out there and you build the best forestry applications that you can, because you already did all of the legwork, all of the groundwork, and you built this like massive resource library for the AI.
What this tells me is that, the VCs of Silicon Valley are looking for educational things to fund, things that help people with their lives. Voice agents can help people with their lives, help people make money with businesses. And then if you're talking about learning techniques, and we're talking about MCPs, we're talking about subject matter expertise. We're talking about learning. We're just kind of talking about making the world better, which is hopefully the direction that
That's
AI is
kind
going
of
to go.
our goal. I think that's
Yeah.
why we're here. That's our goal. That's Heather and I's goal. It's Soapbox's goal.
Yeah.
Speaking of Soapbox, let's hit up a couple things company-wise. Like, we've talked a lot about Soapbox stuff, but there's a couple things that I think that we could mention, just some other neat apps that some of us are working on to kind of stay tuned. Some of these are template apps that we mentioned earlier in the show, talking about
Yeah.
different things that you can do to remix, but some of these may turn into actual cool things. Like Moonfile for gaming, for example, is people that are gamers may have heard of the term ROM, where you download a piece of software and then you download a game file from like a Super Nintendo or Nintendo, something like that, and you play these old school games that we played, 30 years ago or more. So think about
More
doing
than
all of this over Nostr. Yeah,
yeah.
man, 30 years ago, I'd have been 15. So, yeah. So, 40 years ago when I got my Super Nintendo when I was 5 years old. Or, I'm sorry, my Nintendo, sorry. 40 years ago when I
Yeah.
got my NES, my Nintendo Entertainment System at 5 years
Damn.
old. Yeah, I was spoiled. I had two. I had one at my house, and then my grandparents bought me one, so when I was there visiting them, I
Wow.
would be able to play on that there. Yeah, I was spoiled brat. It made me the
Or you
man
were
I
a
am
hyper
today.
kid and your parents wanted to keep you busy.
Yeah, that's probably a little bit
Just
of
give
it
him
too.
the video
Yeah.
game. Get him out of our hair. Give him all the video
Anyways,
games.
I think Moonfile's cool because it's going to allow us to do
Yeah.
ROMs gaming over Nostr, and I believe Daniel has said that because these game files are really small, so you'll be able to upload them not to a Blossom server. He's just going to convert them to a Nostr event. Basically, we don't need to get in the technical stuff of it. He's going to turn it into a base 64 blob.
And if you're
He's going
like
to turn
me
it
and
into
you're like,
a Nostr text file, and it's going to be able to sit on a relay. So that's really cool. I'm excited to see that get
yeah.
built out.
Or for the non-technical people, you can build your own classic video games. We can build any game you want.
Yeah, I went a little
using
geeky. Thanks for bringing us back in, Heather. I appreciate that.
gotta rein you back in. The future is ours to make. Every day we make an app, and maybe it's to entertain Derek because I make fun of him with a Vibe Code Anonymous app, or it's one of our colleagues who are like, I'm gonna make a gaming app so you can play a whole bunch of video games. That's really
Well, what
cool.
if you made a app that calculated the relationship value between two NPubs?
Oh, hey, so this is the way Twitter was in the beginning, where like if you take two different, we'll say account and pub, kind of interchangeable, but you take two different people, like if you match up, Heather's Nostr with Derek's Nostr, and find out like, do we like each other? And so this was really funny. This will be fun for Valentine's Day for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a cool Valentine's Day app. Essentially, the more you tag and comment and interact with a person, the score goes up. It means you like them, right? Because you're interacting with them. Now you
Is
could be
that how
telling
he
them,
scores it? Is that
yeah,
how we find out that?
yeah. So
Okay.
literally, if I messaged you like every day saying I don't like you, I hate you, it would say eventually, if I do that, for like a month, it'll be like, oh, Derek loves Heather. But no, all my messages are saying I hate you.
Yeah, but
So it doesn't read
there's
the
interaction.
context, but it's interaction, right? It
Yeah,
knows
so
the
it counts.
interaction. It's like, so
We're giving each other attention.
it's something fun.
Yeah.
Attention.
Fun apps I miss the fun app era of Twitter when things like that would exist, but I like that app. And if this app sounds cool to you and you're like, that's cool, but that sounds kind of, I could add some things to that. That's what
Remix
it's there
it.
for. It's in the showcase. Yeah, the remix. You just hit the remix button and go make a new version of it.
We don't actually call it remix, but I like that term though. We just say edit with Shakespeare.
Yeah, we
But I like remix.
I think
That's
in terms of
that's sexy. That's fun.
Edit with Shakespeare. Make your own. Make it your own thing. And the one I'm talking about is called Lufu. LUFU.
Lufu.
Test the love between Nostr accounts. But yeah, you can make that, and I don't know, measure the hate between Nostr accounts. I mean, don't do that because that's not mean, but do whatever you want.
That would be like two people that never interacted, I guess.
Yeah, but I've done that where I'm like, maybe I'll pick out somebody I don't like, and then I'll see if we like each other just because I'm
That's funny.
warped like that. But yeah, there's a lot of fun that you can have. And I will say the purpose of being able to edit with Shakespeare or remix per se is that maybe you like that app and you don't want to start from scratch and you just want to make it your own, and you don't want to go through all the prompting process, which could cost a little bit of AI credits or money, and also speed. Hello, just get there faster. Just make the app and say, I like Derek's Podster app, but I want it to be yellow and red because that's my favorite sports team or whatever, just do that.
You can do that. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that this gets back to what we were talking about earlier in the show is if you need inspiration, you don't know how to get started, remixing, editing an existing template is a real big help. So any of these cool apps that anyone is building at Shakespeare, including Shakespeare, can all be edited in Shakespeare. So
we put Shakespeare up there so you can edit
if you want
it.
to yo-dog it up, if you want to download the meme, print it out, have the meme sitting on your lap, while you're vibe coding Shakespeare on Shakespeare, you can be yo-dogging.
And you can submit your app that you make so that maybe Derek and I can remix it.
And then, you could remix Shakespeare into, well, I don't know, maybe you don't like Shakespeare, maybe you like Socrates, and you want to call it Socrates, you could.
Maybe you could do what's that guy Ryan Holiday that does all of the Stoics? Like maybe you want to do a version of Shakespeare that's named after a Stoic.
It shows the versatility of the application that you could literally use it to remix itself if you wanted to. Pretty cool.
Ooh, that could be interesting. So that'd be a lot of fun. You can have fun with Shakespeare. It's a great way a low barrier way to learn how to work with an AI builder. No matter what your level is. If you've never done it before, or you're a developer who's got a computer science degree, you can use it and have a lot of fun.
I think I'm going to be using the new version of Shakespeare a lot. It's very cool.
No kidding.
It's the addiction, right? Like Alex gave me a new shiny and we just spent the last hour-long show, 45 minutes talking about it because it's that cool.
Yeah, so give it a shot.
He gave me my dose of crack, and he's like, he knew
what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing. Well, that's why he gave me that Android app, because he's like, man, Derek needs a little pick me up. Let me just give him this Shakespeare Android app, and boom, I was off.
Every time you get a little grumpy, we're gonna give you a new feature or a new app.
Yeah.
Or
okay, all right. I can start making requests then, and you can just start checking them off. I like it.
That's cool. The care and feeding of Derek Ross. Just keep giving him more AI tools that he can mess with.
Yeah. Well, and as long as they're hooked into Nostr, then it's merging all of my loves and obsessions all in one. Like, right? Like I got a little Bitcoin, got a little Nostr, got a little AI, got a little freedom. Well, got a lot of freedom if I have all three of those.
Oh boy.
Oh man, wait, we can't say freedom anymore. Got a lot of independence.
A lot of independence. See, now you actually do listen to what I say.
I mean, medium.
Not all the time.
You don't let that go to your head.
I think a third of the time you listen to me. So, I mean, I'll take it. That works. It's balance.
I listen to it all and I thoughtfully decide what I want to reflect.
While rolling his eyes back so far, he's going to probably file a complaint with workers' comp.
Man, can I do that?
I did already.
Oh, no. All right. I think that wraps it up. It was another banger of an episode. Heather, thank you for trying to make me healthier and caring about my mental health and making this app. I will try to use it and report back and see
remember,
how I'm going on my recovery.
It works if you work it.
Yeah.
And
thank you for the boosts, the zaps. Thank you for listening, for your support. Subscribe on Fountain or in your favorite podcasting 2.0 app.